Welcome to another round of random Wikipedia article. Yeah, that sounds so lame. Um, I kind of like felt that the second I said that. I was like, what should I do now? What should I say now? And well, I continued obviously, but I am having a bittersweet moment because the cat, which I've been fostering for a few weeks now, she got adopted. I'm really, really, really happy for her, but also I'm kind of sad because tonight gonna be the last night we might ever see each other. Yeah, that's that's so strange, right? Like just fostering a couple of cats. I feel that it's so difficult to kind of um, you know process through that bond because I knew when I got her or the first cat I fostered, I knew that they will be adopted soon, and I knew that they will be uh, going to a better house where they can express themselves. And even after knowing that, it was so difficult to process through that. I mean, when when my first foster cat, Lilbet, when she got adopted, it took me a week to kind of deciding if I want to foster again or not. And I thought I'm gonna take break for a few months, but within a week I was like, no, I wanted to foster. So then I got this cutie pie here, and she is one of a kind. She is probably the only cat who cannot be bribed with treats. She don't start running to its food. She just take her time. She is a queen. she would she would do whatever she would like to do. I mean, my first foster cat, she was like that too, in plenty of ways. But her weakness was food. Like the second I even go and approach the food can, she would run and she would come like from wherever she is. So she knew that if I'm getting the can, it's a dinner time or lunchtime or whatever. So she was very quick with that. And this one over here, she just she just chilled. I mean, there are times when I kind of like put food and I'm gone for like few hours, and when I come back, yeah, she won't even like take a bite or anything. Um, yeah, it kind of make me feel like what kind of cat is she? And she's like so silly. For the past couple days, I've been noticing that she just go in under like one of the dripping taps, and I don't know what she does. I mean, I'm sure she kind of drinks that water, but then she get her head pretty much wet, and that's pretty unique. Like because cats in general don't like to be anywhere close to water. But this one over here, she would she won't mind apparently. But whenever I you know uh, turn on the tap to wash my hands or to take a shower, she would just run out of that place. So for some reason she don't like the sound of flowing water, I guess. But when she's on her own, she would just go and get her head under the dripping tap and get pretty much her head wet. Such a silly cat. She loves when I massage her here, like on her neck. She she kind of enjoys that. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna miss her. Anyhow, uh, Wait a second. What is happening here? Look like I might be having technical difficulties, which I had yesterday. That was so hilarious. At some point, I had some issue with my mic, and the entire session, I was just stuck at just yeah, like and it or it and something like that. It and yeah, it's so weird and so hilarious. I mean, probably like uh, the, I, I I probably had good sound for first 30 minutes or so, and then it was all just that weird noise. Let me actually show what I mean. So let me go to the website, go to YouTube, and then from there you go. Okay, cool. So if I play this,
edit, edit, edit,
this
edit,
is what I'm
edit,
talking about.
edit, edit, edit.
So it
I'm
was
blanking
working
on
over
her
here.
exact position, but
So
when she
no
was in
problem here.
power in California, she actually passed laws to help
Yeah, I was
corporations
talking about
hurt
Kamala
African,
Harris.
kind of have like a fair trial, and politicians they
So
just
it
come
was
up with
okay
like
over here.
edit, 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 edit.
So
Politicians
somewhere
they
here,
just come up with like
I had an issue with the mic.
random promises and don't even try to fulfill any one of them. I mean, look at the fucking Joe Biden. What is he doing? I mean, before when he was running for office, he promised so many different things. Did he fulfill any of them? No, because he don't care. The dude is gone. He's not even capable to be a president. I mean, it's not a new thought. Trump is not a good president or capable to be a president either, and Joe Biden isn't either. And there's a state of affair. We are we are stuck. We are stuck, uh, and it and it and it and it and it and it and it
This is where
and it and it
everything
and
kind
it
of
and it
went
and it
in it.
and it and it and it
And
and it
this
and
is
it
so
and it
hilarious.
and it and it
This is
and it
so hilarious.
and it
So
and it and it
for
and
first
it
18
and it
minutes or so,
and it
I had like a
and
good
it
sound,
and it
and
and it
for
and it
the
and it
rest of
and it
the
and it and it and it and it
time,
and it and it and it and it and
it
it
was
and it
just
and it
caught in this
and it
loop.
and it and it
Wow.
and it and it and it
And yeah, I
and it
I did
and it
had like good
and
time
it
yesterday.
and
I
it
was going
and
through
it
like a lot
and
of
it
good
and it
good
and it
good information about about Japanese art form. If I have to like recall, let's do this very quickly. So we started with a dance form, which was yep, yakushai or yakushe, maybe yakushe. And then it led us to a different entirely different segment, which was samurai. So uh, how what's the history of samurai, the different formations they used to do during war, the different um, what do you call armor they used to wear over the years, and these were in like different formations, like war formations they used to do. And I believe we also touch based on some of the martial arts, which was pretty amazing. There are like different segments of martial arts with archery, with war fan, which is sort of like a metallic, metallic fan. Then there was a lot of um, spear and halberd, then fencing, and also there was no hand, of course, no weapon, sorry, and then cane art, hidden art. So it's it's a very fantastic, it's a fantastic read. So if you're sort of like into you know kind of history of martial arts, then, or I won't even say history per se, but just different form of martial arts. So the Wikipedia page for samurai is a good read, although I didn't read the entire page because it was pretty long. All right, so what we're gonna do is continue the ritual or the habit or the journey or of um, of learning something new, or at the very least correcting ourselves, or validating our existing belief about topic. So if you run across any article which we are unfamiliar with, or if we run across any article and the topic is unfamiliar to us, then we can learn something new. But if the topic is familiar to us, then we can reaffirm if what we know about it is correct, or we can correct ourselves. So we're gonna start with this random article on the left hand side, and we're gonna talk about 2009 FIVB, Volleyball Men's World Grand Championship Cup Squads. FIVB, I mean, VB is obviously volleyball. Um, FI, what is FI? Looking at the contents, it does look like they were countries from all over the world, like Brazil, Cuba, from the American continent, Egypt, Iran from the Middle Eastern and African continent, Japan from and Poland from Asian and European continent. So definitely they've been it's been a world championship. Then why is it called FIVB? Of course, we can check over here. That doesn't give any more information. But let's see one interesting thing. So I was reading this book called Outlier, and in that book, I think it was Canadian hockey team. Uh, Damn, I should remember that. The book Outliers is by Malcolm Gladwell, and I think it was a Canadian hockey team, which and predominantly the players were born in the early half of the year, and he was trying to dissect that, like, because incomplete data lead to wrong conclusions. Because if you just look at the date of birth of each of those players, you would come to a conclusion that the people who are born in the first half of the year are better at playing hockey than the next half of the year. But that's completely wrong assessment, because it all comes down to how the um, federation sort of select players. So if I'm not mistaken, their cutoff date is end of the year, meaning and any uh, like how academically the cutout date is sometime in summer, right? Because that's when we have like a new class, or people level up to a different class, different grade. Uh, so likewise in sports such as hockey, there is a cutoff date and cutoff month. So what end up happening is the if the cutoff date is say 31st December, right? Then there would be a lot of children who were born in the early half of the month, early half of the year, month, early half of the year, and those children will get more exposure and more opportunity to practice and play, and that leads to more of them being selected for bigger tournaments, and they end up being into the professional sports altogether. And all of that is dependent on the cut off date for admission into the training program, I guess. So that makes such a huge difference, and I'm kind of curious, like what is like the month wise, or the if most of the players were in the early half of the year or later half. So let's see. So this is later half. This is early half. This is April is early half. Then so 2 for later, 3 for later, December, 4 for later because July, 2 for April, early half, then 5 for later half, and then May is early half. Wow, August is later half, October is later half, July is later half, March is early, June, April, February, wow, March, July, January, May, February. Yeah. So wow, surprisingly, the early half kind of caught up, and later half too. Not bad. Like 5 and total nine. 9 were in the second half of the year, and 11 were in the first half of the year. And if you look over here, so July, December, August, February, May, February, March, June, September, July, June, July, October, June, May, January, September. Okay, so 10 players in the later half, and 9 in the uh, you know the first half. And so it seems pretty more or less even, at least for Brazil and Cuba. I'm not sure for the other countries, but that's that kind of that's an interesting combination. Regardless, I'm kind of curious what exactly is FI. I'm sure it's gonna be something very silly. The FIVB Volleyball World Grand Champions Cup. First of all, the FIVB, VB is volleyball, right? Then why do they say FIVB volleyball? That's pretty redundant. Now I'm kind of more curious if FIVB stands for something else, but let's check it out. The FIVB Volleyball World Grand Championships Cup is an international volleyball competition contested by the senior men's and women's national teams of the members of Federation Internationale de Volleyball. So it's in French, I'm assuming. So Federation Internationale de Volleyball, which is FIVB, the sport's global governing body. Well, now we know. See, then isn't that redundant to say Federation Internationale de Volleyball Men's World Grand Championship Cup? Okay, cool. So, and this is for 2009, and the teams which qualified for Japan, Iran, Poland, Cuba, Brazil, Egypt. And what ended up happening? So Brazil 5-1, 0 loss. Wow. Good for you, Brazil. Cuba 4-1, 1 loss. Damn, nice. Japan 3-2, Poland 2-3, Iran 1-4, and Egypt 0-5. So who won? Brazil, right? Yeah. So Brazil first, Cuba second, Japan third. Because obviously this is the final tally. Or is it? Because it says Osaka on and Nagoya on. So probably these are more details of that. Yeah. And this is their third title. The FIVB Volleyball World Grand Championship Cup is an international volleyball competition contested by the senior men's and women's national teams of the members of Federation Internationale de Volleyball, the sport's global governing body. The tournament was created in 1993 after radical changes made on the biggest tournament organized by the FIVB. The main goal was not to have a single year without two high profile world level volleyball competitions alongside the pre existing men's and women's world championship, men's and women's World Cup, and the volleyball tournament at the Olympic Games, which are all quadrennial, and the annual men's and women's Nations League. The World Grand Champions Cup is therefore played quadrennially the year after the Olympic Games and is always hosted by the Japan Volleyball Association. It does not give any points for the world ranking. Brazil has been the most successful team in the men's tournament, having won 5 of the 7 editions. Brazil has also finished runners up to Cuba and Italy in the only 2 occasions claimed by other national teams. The women's tournament history is more balanced, with Brazil and China having won the tournament twice, while Cuba, Italy, and Russia have won 1 title each. The Federation Internationale de Volleyball, commonly known as the acronym FIVB, is the international governing body for all forms of volleyball. Its headquarters are located in Lausanne, Switzerland, and its current president is Brazilian Ari Graca or Grasa. The FIVB Men's World Championship is an international volleyball competition contested by the senior men's national teams of the members of Federation Internationale de Volleyball, the sport's global governing body. The initial gap between championships were variable, but since something something, and this is not going to be helpful either. So let's skip this and let's check out this. Nope, nothing interesting there. But Volleyball has been part of the Summer Olympics program for both men and women consistently since 1964. You know what? I'm gonna check out more about. Well, I want to check about volleyball, not. Yeah. So, volleyball is a team sport in which two teams of six players are separated by a net. Each team tries to score points by grounding a ball on the other team's court under organized rules. It has been a part of the official program of the Summer Olympic Games since Tokyo 1964. All right, before I do that, I want to do something else. I want to show you guys that I wasn't lying when I said that this cat, look at her hair. Look over here. She got water all over her head. Okay. Settle down. Settle down. Yeah. Okay. Settle. Okay. Now she's gone. Well, look like I probably annoyed her a lot. But I hope she'll remember me. A part of me at least does, even though I know that's asking a lot. I mean, she's like what, not even 6 months, and she been with me for hardly 3 weeks or maybe a month. Yeah, in the grand scheme, she won't remember me. But some days, some days I kind of think. I mean, obviously this is silly, and I'm joking, but what if like maybe 12 years from now, when the planet going to be destroyed because of climate crisis, and we will be living in apocalypse during that time, all the pets I've fostered over the years will come and rescue me. They gonna leave and abandon their respective pet owners or parents, or whatever, and they're gonna come back to me. They're gonna find me through all the craziness of the world. They're gonna they're gonna try to trace their steps back to this place, and then they'll realize that I don't live here anymore, and now I live at a bigger mansion somewhere. So they're gonna come down over here, and then they're gonna see someone um, keeping my following through my tracks, and nah, that's silly. They're gonna just smell and trace back to my mansion, and I'll be waiting for them. I'll have all the guards, the automated guards around my mansion, and the second see that all my pet animals are coming back, I'm gonna lay down those guards, and they're all gonna like come into the mansion, and they will protect me from everything. So yeah, maybe I'm fostering for a selfish reason. Who knows? Only time will tell. Okay, cool. Let's check this out. Volleyball. I kind of liked volleyball. It's a cool sport. Even though I wasn't like the best. I wasn't best at anything, so no surprises there. But I still kind of there were plenty of games or days when I was like, okay, I am so confident I can do it, and I nailed some of those hits. But there were always better players in my team and in opposite team, so it was it was always a fun sport. Cool. So, volleyball is a team sport in which two teams of six players are separated by a net. Each team tries to score points by grounding a ball on the other team's court under organized rules. It has been a part of the official program of the Summer Olympic Games since Tokyo 1964. Beach volleyball was introduced to the program at the Atlanta 1996. The adapted version of volleyball at the Summer Paralympic Games is sitting volleyball. The complete set of rules is extensive, but play essentially proceeds as follows. A player on one of the teams begin a rally by serving the ball, which means tossing or releasing it and then hitting it with a hand or arm. And they do that from behind the back boundary line of the court over the net and into the receiving team's court. The receiving team must not let the ball be grounded within their court. The team may touch the ball up to 3 times. One player cannot double touch the ball. And then they have to return the ball to the other side of the court. But individual players may not touch the ball twice consequently. Typically, the first 2 touches are used to set up for an attack. An attack is an attempt to direct the ball back over the net in such a way that the team receiving the ball is unable to pass the ball and continue the rally, thus losing the point. The team that wins the rally is awarded a point and serves the ball to start the next rally. A few of the most common faults include causing the ball to touch the ground or floor outside the opponent's court or without first passing over the net, catching and throwing the ball, double hit, which means two consecutive contacts with the ball made by the same player, and then 4 consecutive contacts with the ball made by the same team. And then there is net foul, which means touching the net during play. And then there is foot fault, which means the foot crosses over the boundary line when serving or under the net when a front row player is trying to keep the ball in play. The ball is usually played with the hands or arms, but players can legally strike or push with short contact, and the ball with any other part of the body. A number of consistent techniques have evolved in volleyball, including spiking and blocking, because these players are made above the top of the net. The vertical jump is an athletic skill emphasized in the sport, as well as passing, setting, and specialized player positions and offensive and defensive structures. Cool. All right. A team sport includes any sport where individuals are organized into opposing teams which compete to win. Team members act together towards a shared objective. This can be done in a number of ways, such as outscoring the opposing team. Team members set goals, make decisions, and act together. The Summer Olympic Games, also known as the Games of the Olympiad, are a major international multi-sport event normally held once every 4 years. The inaugural games took place in 1896 in Athens, Greece, and most recently the 2020 Summer Olympics were celebrated in 2021 in Tokyo, Japan. Beach volleyball is a team sport played by 2 teams of 2 players on a sand court divided by a net. Similar to indoor volleyball, the objective of the game is to send the ball over the net and to ground it on the opponent's side of the court. Each team works in unison and to prevent the opposing team from scoring. The Summer Paralympics, also known as the Games of the Paralympiad, are an international multi sport event where athletes with physical disabilities compete. This includes athletes with mobility disabilities, amputations, blindness, and cerebral palsy. Sitting volleyball is a form of volleyball for athletes with a disability. As opposed to standing volleyball, sitting volleyball players must have at least one buttock in contact with the floor during the game. A vertical jump or vertical leap is the act of jumping upwards into the air. It can be an exercise for building both endurance and strength, endurance and strength, and is also a standard test for measuring athletic performance. It may also be referred to as a sergeant jump, named for Dudley Allen Sargent. Cool. What's the history of volleyball? In December of 1895, in Holyoke, Massachusetts, 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 William G. Morgan, a YMCA physical education director, created a new game called Mintonet, a name derived from the game of badminton, as a pastime to be played, preferably indoors and by any number of players. The game took some of its characteristics from other sports such as baseball, tennis, and handball. Another indoor sport, basketball, was catching on in the area, having been invented just 10 miles away in the city of Springfield, Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Only 4 years before, Mintonet was designed to be an indoor sport, less rough than basketball for older members of the YMCA, while still requiring a bit of athletic effort. The first rules written down by William G. Morgan called for a net 6 feet 6 inches high, a 25 feet by 50 feet court, and any number of players. A match was composed of 9 innings with 3 serves for each team in each inning, and no limit to the number of ball contacts for each team before sending the ball to the opponent's court. In case of a serving error, a second try was allowed. Hitting the ball into the net was considered a foul, with loss of the point or a side out, except in the case of the first try serve. After an observer, Alfred Halstead, noticed the volleying nature of the game at its first exhibition match in 1896, played at the International YMCA Training School, now called Springfield College. The game quickly became known as volleyball. It was originally spelled as 2 words, volley, ball. Volleyball rules were slightly modified by the International YMCA Training School, and the game spread across the country to various YMCAs. In the early 1900s, Spalding, through its publishing company, American Sports Publishing Company, produced books with complete instruction and rules for the sport. Holyoke is a city in Hampden County, Massachusetts, United States, that lies between the western bank of the Connecticut River and the Mount Tom Range. As of the 2020 census, the city had a population of 38,238 people. Located 8 miles, which is about 13 kilometers, north of Springfield. William George Morgan was the inventor of volleyball, originally called Mintonet, a game derived from the game of badminton, which he later agreed to change to better reflect the nature of the sport. He was born in Lockport, New York, US. YMCA, sometimes regionally called the Y, is a worldwide youth organization based in Geneva, Switzerland, with more than 64 million beneficiaries in 120 countries. It was founded on 6th June 1844 by Sir George Williams in London, originally as the Young Men's Christian Association. Badminton is a racket sport played using rackets to hit a shuttlecock across a net. Although it may be played with larger teams, the most common form of the game are singles and doubles. Badminton is often played as a casual outdoor activity in a yard or on a beach. Formal games are played all over the world, I guess. Tennis is a racket sport that can be played individually against a single opponent, called singles, or between two teams of two players each, called doubles. Each player uses a tennis racket that is strung with cord to strike a hollow rubber ball covered with felt over or around the net and into the opponent's court. Handball is a team sport in which two teams of seven players each pass a ball using their hands with the aim of throwing it into the goal of the other team. A standard match consists of two periods of 30 minutes, and the team that scores more goals wins. Basketball is a team sport in which two teams, most commonly of five players each, opposing one another on a rectangular court, compete with the primary objective of shooting a basketball through the defender's hoop while preventing the opposing team from shooting through their own hoop. Springfield is a city in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, United States, and the seat of Hampden County. Springfield sits on the eastern bank of the Connecticut River near its confluence with three rivers: the western Westfield River, the eastern Chicopee River, and the eastern Mill River. Spalding is an American sports equipment manufacturing company founded by Albert Spalding in Chicago in 1876, although is now headquartered in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Spalding currently focuses on basketball, mainly producing balls, but also commercializing hoops, rims, nets, and something. All right, so let's go through refinements and later developments. The first official ball used in volleyball is disputed. Some sources say Spalding created the first official ball in 1896, while others claim it was created in 1900. The rules evolved over time. In 1916, in the Philippines, the skill and power of the set and spike had been introduced, and 4 years later, a three hits rule and a rule against hitting from the back row were established. In 1917, the game was changed from requiring 21 points to win to a smaller 15 points to win. In 1919, about 16,000 volleyballs were distributed by the American Expeditionary Forces to their troops and allies, which sparked the growth of volleyball in new countries. Oh, Sprinkles, she been being super naughty. Okay. The first country. Nobody needs to see my face. The first country outside the United States to adopt volleyball was Canada in 1900. An international federation, the Federation Internationale de Volleyball, was founded in 1947, and the first World Championships were held in 1949 for men and 1952 for women. The sport is now popular in Brazil, in Europe, where especially Italy, the Netherlands, and countries from Eastern Europe have been major forces since the late 1980s. And in Russia and in other countries, including China and the rest of Asia, as well as in the United States. Beach volleyball is a variation of the game played on sand with only two players per team, became a FIVB endorsed variation in 1987 and was added to the Olympic program at the 1996 Summer Olympics. Volleyball is also a sport at the Paralympics, managed by the World Organization Volleyball for Disabled. Nudists were early adopters of the game with regular organized play in clubs as early as the late 1920s. By the 1960s, a volleyball court had become standard in almost all nudist or naturist clubs. The American Expeditionary Forces was a formation of the United States Army on the Western Front of World War I. The AEF was established on July 5th, 1917, in France under the command of General John J. Pershing. It fought alongside French Army, British Army, and the other allies. The Allies of World War I, or Entente powers, were a coalition of countries led by France, Britain, Russia, Italy, Japan, and the United States against the Central Powers of Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, Bulgaria, and their colonies during the First World War from 1914 till 1918. Okay. I remember I probably had an entire uh, live stream on Brazil. This would be interesting. I remember the uh, the the stars in the flag that sort of reflect to the star formation when Brazil was sort of formed. I won't even say formed because that was a reflection of some sort of revolution which was a few centuries back. Um, and it's a beautiful sentiment. I love when when there are like complexities to the things, like this star formation of the day when which is celebrated throughout Brazil with pride. So that have like such a significant meaning. The generation move on, the star, even the star's location move on, but that capturing that formation itself is so beautiful. So Brazil, officially the Federative Republic of Brazil, is the largest country in both South America and Latin America at 8.5 million square kilometers, which is 3,300,000 square miles. And with over 211 million people, Brazil is the world's first largest country by area and the sixth most populous. Oh, did I say first? Brazil is the world's fifth largest country by area and the sixth most populous. Its capital is Brasilia. Come on, come on, come on. The Netherlands, informally Holland, is a country located in Western Europe with overseas territories in the Caribbean. It is the largest of four constituent countries of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Or Netherlands. Why I'm saying Netherlands? I should read that again. The Netherlands. Oh, come on, Sprinkles. Come on, get out of there. Come on. The cats and their covers. Where did she go? Here she is. Come on over here. Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm not a good cat caller. Cat caller. What am I saying? Okay. The Netherlands, informally Holland, is a country located in Western Europe with overseas territories in the Caribbean. It is the largest of four constituent countries of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. In Europe, the Netherlands consists of 12 provinces, bordering Germany to the east, Belgium to either west, south, or north. Could also be east, a part of east maybe, like southeast or northeast. Eastern Europe is the eastern region of Europe. There is no consistent definition of the precise area it covers, partially because the term has a wide range of geopolitical, geographical, ethnic, cultural, and socio-economic connotations. Russia, located in Eastern Europe, is both the largest and uh, both the largest and both the largest and the widest country in the world. And it consists of how many time zones? 10 or 11 time zones? I gotta look it up. Time zones in Russia, something like that. Let's see. Oh, whatever. Come on. Come on. Well, I tried. She just ran away. Wow. Okay. Back here. Nature Naturism is a lifestyle of practicing non sexual social nudity in private and in public. The word also refers to the cultural movement which advocates and defends that lifestyle. Both may alternatively be called nudism, Though the two terms are broadly interchangeably, nudism emphasizes emphasizes what? Yeah, who knows? Okay. Volleyball has been part of summer. Okay, yeah, since 1964. We know. We sort of know the rules too. Oh, yeah, I remember. I kind of sort of remember about the rotation. So, once you kind of complete a turn, you gotta rotate to your left. Yeah, which is kind of dope because everyone get an option or an opportunity to to play on every um, part of the court. Wow, even Buddhist monks play volleyball in the Himalayan state of Sikkim in India, and not that that takes me back to this one time when I went to Peru, and um, um, I was in Amazon jungle, like literally. I sort of bought this week long um, adventure from this company, right? And I I flew to Iquitos, and from there I boarded a motorboat, and we drove through River Amazon into like one of the tributaries, and we were deep inside the jungle, maybe like 2-ish hours away from Iquitos. So like like the Iquitos was the only major city around, and Iquitos itself is nowhere a major city compared to like Lima or even Cusco. So yeah, Iquitos was its own small city, and it was like, if I'm not mistaken, Iquitos is an island city. So from there I boarded a motorboat and 2 hours steam into Amazon. Um, uh, and they were there was like a what do you call it, like a yurt, or like like different cabins made in the deep Amazon, because a lot of tourists would love to go there. And there I played volleyball. That is so weird, right? I mean, uh, I played volleyball with the guides and the caretakers of that place. So, and surprisingly, there were only three of us. Like there was me, and like tourist wise, there were only three of us. Like there was me, and there was this other couple, and that's pretty much it. So for pretty much most of the time, like 3 or 4 days, it was only three of us from the from the tourist side, but they were like dedicated guides for each of us. So there were a few adventures which we did together, like just kind of like going through or sailing through Amazon river. And I remember this one time we went to this sort of like deep space in jungle, right? And we kind of like went there using a boat, and then from there we were just walking around, right? And like the guides, they were showing me all kind of frogs on that place, and it it is breathtaking. Amazon is so beautiful. I mean, just thinking about that kind of make me want to go back. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And that kind of reminds me, I should go more. I should, Amazon should be sure one of the best experiences, but I should have more of the experiences like that. But the beauty of Amazon was that it was so peaceful, and when you're walking through the jungle, you can listen to different sounds from different animals, and based on that, you can sort of locate their location, right? And we were chasing what was that? Um, we were chasing a herd of um some monkeys. Kapu. I'm blanking on the exact name of the species, but we were tracing them, so, rather than chasing. So the herd sort of like jumped from one tree to another, and my guide, he was making those sound to kind of get them respond back to that sound. And when they did, we were able to kind of like figure out where those herd of monkeys were, and we were trying to chase there. But those guides there, they are amazing. I mean, how they can distinguish between sounds of different animals and birds, and on top of that, how they can even mimic them, and sort of like use those sounds to kind of communicate with all of these animals. So it's very, very real. Like that's what reality is. I mean, we are all sort of safe in our own concrete jungles, but when you go out in an actual jungle where there are thousands of species all around you, and a lot of them are deadly. Whether it's like a deadly venomous snake, or whether it's it's some deadly feline like jaguar, or deadly uh, trees and plants, or poisonous trees and plants, I guess. So that just to name few. And Amazon is so rich in biodiversity that it kind of pains me when I hear stories such as the Brazilian government letting a good chunk of Amazon being burnt down so that they can either grow like farmland, or converting those jungle into farmland, or for some sort of industrial purpose. And that kind of pains me, because come on, um, how can you go into how can you live close to such an amazing um, naturistic um, such an amazing place, and how could you damage that? I don't get it. I don't understand. I I think greed drives people to do a lot of um, stupid, idiotic thing. I think it's not just greed, but all sort of emotions, right? Like even anger drives people to do stupid thing. Power drive people to do, unhumane things. So lust make people um, make people not be them. And you name it, like these are all sort of like emotions, but also these are like primal emotions, like the the urge to conquer, to become powerful, is a primal. The urge to have everything for yourself, like greed, is primal. The urge to have sex is primal. The urge to kind of be angry, I guess. I don't know. Like all of these primal emotions are built in for different purposes, right? And so someone kind of like pointed out, like cats, they are such a stoic animals, because they would be themselves, no matter what. I mean, they if you don't say if you don't feed them the food they need to nourish, right? Like for example, there are a lot of owners who or parents, like they like to call themselves as parents, but there are a lot of people who would not feed their cat um, the meat because they want to convert their cat into vegan. I'm like, are you serious? First of all, that goes against who they are. So what does cat does? They're probably gonna comply, when they're with them. But when they're not watching, they're gonna just go out and hunt or something. So that's what cat does. To some degree, that's what I feel. That it's such a big learning lesson that instead of like bitching about what not being done for you, or someone mistreating you or whatever, they just go out and do whatever they want to. So they live to their true self, and that's what is one of the attractive feature of feline family, right? And I bet like that's sort of extends to all the other felines like lions and tigers. I mean, there's a reason these animals are considered to be royalty because they 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 do whatever the hell they want to, and cats are no different. That's Dogs, on the other hand, even though I haven't had an experience fostering dog yet, and I do want it to foster a dog, but it's a lot of work. I mean, you got to take them on a walk. You have to, uh, you know, uh, like take care of a lot of other needs. So, cats in that sense is easier. Sure, you still have to clean their litter box, but you don't have to be in the house forever. So if like when I leave my place for hours to do my stand-up comedy, I don't want to be worried about leaving a dog behind because they would feel sad. They would uh, they 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 might feel whatever, like it could feel like a torturous, right? And on top of that, if they are like a good, well trained dog, and if they are trained not to shit within the apartment, for instance, they would be in a terrible place because they don't want to shit in the apartment and make say me upset, but at the same time they can't hold themselves in for hours, right? So I mean, I don't even want any animal to go through that pain because of me. So that's one of the reasons I decided not to foster dogs at the moment. But I do want it to do foster them, and because I feel that dogs are such an amazing companion. I mean, they would be with you. They would they would be welcoming you whenever you come in. Unlike cat, I mean, look at this girl. I mean, I literally walk in and have to call her name 10 times, and even then, if she's in mood, she would just sneak out of wherever she's hiding. Otherwise, I gotta go and find her, like try to figure out which hiding spot she is hiding at, and that's what cats are. And to some degree, I feel grateful for that experience because to me it shows that I have to learn to be okay when some other beings, say some human or even a cat, doesn't reflect that love or likeness in the moment, you know? But because, see, I know that she loves me, because she comes up, sits on my lap and, sits for hours. So, I love to pet her. She loves being petted. Maybe it's not that she loves me as much as she loves being petted. So whoever would pet her, she would, maybe show the same amount of affection. I don't know, uh, but I do feel that there is this inner um, inner want to connect with different beings, right? That's why she and I, we can connect, and likewise I can understand when any two other beings can connect. Whether it's human and say a dog, or human and a tiger, or human and a cow. And I also understand why other beings, like two completely different beings, can connect, like a cat and a mouse, a cat and a rat, a dog and a cat. I mean, these are like evolutionarily speaking, these are kind of like, have a different relationship, like of a predator and a prey, and they still can connect and can express affection or love to each other. So that part of that part of a connection is so innately built within all of us, within all of our all the beings on this planet. I would imagine, uh, even though some beings misuse that and, like, end up being a parasite. But I would like to say that most of the people, or most of the beings, would be kinder when all of their needs and wants are met. I bet uh, cat could be a forgiving cat could be forgiving if she or he is already full. You know, likewise for the tiger and other animals as well. And that's one of the reasons lot of animals don't hunt when they are full, because sort of like a natural balance, like they hunt only when they're hungry. Although that's not true for all the beings, counting humans. Humans are the worst, for sure. But I'm sure there are other species who just hunt for fun. Um, and um, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't know how many of those species might be cruel enough to make their um, prey suffer, like a torture. So I don't know. I know that cats do play with their food, so maybe cats are cruel enough to not give in the suffering of a small animal or a being, and play with them until they suffer and die. So again, I don't I haven't seen a cat in her natural habitat per se. I mean, sure, this is sort of natural for her, meaning, like, she can still do her thing. She can jump around. She can find the most elevated point and just go and settle up there. So she can do a lot of those things. So that is natural for her, but the real nature would be, when she can go out and she can find her own food and figure out her hierarchy, when she kind of, like, end up interacting with different cats. So that's where it's gonna be more naturalistic, I guess. And we as in, like, humans, we end up doing the same thing, right? But as long as we interact with other humans, we end up creating those hierarchies. We end up um, uh, acting out on some of our primal urges, and and whatnot. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I hope she doesn't. Okay. Oh, this is good. This is good. I hope she doesn't just kick the camera. Okay. Shoot. I was hoping that she would put her face right in front of camera, which she still could, like, if I do it this way, tilt her. But no, she is. Okay. Now you guys get to see her butthole. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Well, this is this is how she settles in. This is so interesting, so weird, right? There are times when I wish I had like more um like a different camera setup. And also, to be honest, I wish that my place was cleaner because it's a total mess right now. So, I don't even like feel like capturing some of these moments from different angles. Um, but hopefully, by the time I'll have my third Foster, I'll have like a better, yeah, and a cleaner space, and gonna have like multiple cameras to capture most of the things they do, and capture these silly, cute, sweet moments, and that's also kind of is a reflection of reality, because reality is comprised of a lot of these sweet moments, and I I'm so glad and grateful to have found this fostering program, because having Sprinkles, this cat, also having my first foster, these were super helpful. Like just doing my regular thing, and um, um, just knowing that they are around me kind of make me feel happy from within. And like plenty of times I kind of like end up witnessing the silliest thing they do. um, I remember like my very first foster cat, she used to follow me every single place. If I go to kitchen, she'll follow me there. If I go to bathroom, she'll follow me there. And once we were in there, she would act pretty bossy. Like, she would just sit there and just keep looking at me and won't budge, won't listen to me. Well, that's typical cat for you. But, this one over here, she is pretty moody. She follows once in a while, but most of the time she'll be doing her own thing. Uh, you know, um, um, and I'm gonna miss this cutie. Yeah. Did you hear me, Sprinkle? Sprinkles, 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 sprinkles. Tomorrow you'll be moving into your new place. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk now. Okay. Okay. Look there. Look there. Look there. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Uh. Well. Yeah. It's so fun to have animals around. Well, I'm gonna just call it a night. It's almost 2 a.m. Wow, it is super late here, and um, I mean, doing this actually, I love it. It's a very painful. The most painful part is to setting it up, sitting down, and actually recording it, and then after the entire stream or recording, editing out some of the things. That's the real pain. But while I'm doing this, I kind of love it, especially the random Wikipedia thing. I just love the idea of randomness in the universe. Sort of like guide you or take you to a random article, and you might like learn or read about something which you never thought about or would never think about. I mean, I played volleyball. I know plenty about volleyball. When I say plenty, not like an sport expert, but just enough to kind of play and understand what's going on. And uh, even with that, why in the world would I ever try to learn about Federation at the International de Volleyball? If if I got that right. But why in the world would I try to learn about FIVB? And on top of that, specifically for 2009 FIVB, where Brazil won, and the other countries were Japan, Poland, Cuba. Cuba was the second, and Japan was third. So there was Poland, and Egypt, and Iraq, and that's it, I guess. So from from Americas, there were Brazil and Cuba. From Africa, there was Egypt. From Middle East, there was Iraq, and from Europe, there was Poland. From Asia, there was Japan. So six. Okay, I think that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, why in the world would I know that all of these teams were, in the final round of 2009 FIVB championship or whatever? So yeah. Anyways, I should I should stop. I should stop this and just go to bed. Uh, well, I hope that you guys are having a great time, and I hope that you already. I hope that you are at peace and